I was encouraged by some things. We got punched in the mouth early on in this game, and I thought our guys fought back and battled back. Obviously, we understand there's no participation trophies in our league, so we're going to take the loss, we're going to own it. But there was a lot of things that I was encouraged by in the game. So, but obviously we've got to still play better. So go ahead.
Last year, you said you felt like you needed to sit Jameis because injuries were piling up. Is there consideration for doing that with Derek now that he's left 3 times?
I think both of those are totally different situations.
Well, they both had.
They're both totally different situations.
In what regard?
Also.
They're totally different situations. All right, we're not getting into what we did last year, what we're doing this year. All right. Look, Derek's in the concussion protocol right now, so we'll evaluate that as we go.
Are the things other than concussion potentially serious?
I don't know that. I mean, he's going in for evaluation on a couple of different things, but he's in the concussion protocol. And look, I didn't mean to shut down your question, but yeah, I mean, look, obviously with injuries, you certainly got to pay attention to that. But I'm not getting into the business of we're going to compare things from one year to the next. So
just phrase it that way because y'all had precedent of doing that, and Derek's had the same shoulder injury 3 times and concussion protocol twice now.
Yeah.
So I was asking if there's any consideration to maybe giving him a rest.
got it.
Is there any mounting concern at all with it being, concussion protocol again? 3.
Yeah, look, I think anytime you have a concussion, it's concerning. So, yeah, that certainly, and yeah, there's concern with some of the injuries that he's suffered. So look, we'll just like we do all the time, we'll go in and evaluate where he's at physically, and see where he's at physically, and then we'll go from there.
How difficult do you think it was for this team to probably recognize some of the atmosphere? A lot of Lions fans were in the stands. There were a lot of booing early on.
No, look, how can you not?
Yeah.
I think it was noticeable, and that's our job to change it. So, I was proud of the way that our guys, fought back, got back into the game, gave ourselves a real opportunity, and at the end we just couldn't get it done.
And to what do you attribute the early hole? Was that just poor execution, or was it?
Well, look, you have to give those guys some credit, right? They're a good team. They're second in the league in offense, and they took the ball right down the field on the first drive. We missed a tackle on the one run play, which created an explosive play, and they scored a touchdown. And then backs against the wall, we turned the ball over, and they were able to get another touchdown. And so now all of a sudden you're starting the game down 14-0. So we didn't start well. We battled back, we scratched and clawed and got ourselves back into this, and we're going to keep swinging and keep chopping wood. And I told the team, look, we're eventually going to break through.
Yes. How much, or if at all, do you think Derek's performance, especially in the third quarter, was maybe motivated by the booing? Did you see any correlation?
I wouldn't be able to answer that question. Obviously, we're all prideful, we're all competitive, and we want to perform. And so, I thought after, he kind of settled in a little bit, I thought there was a stretch there where he played, really, really well. And, it was unfortunate that he got injured.
Early this week, there was a lot of conversation about does the team have or not have identity. Did you see the identity you wanted to see for this team?
Yeah, look, our guys fought, all right? We weren't perfect. I didn't like the execution early on. I thought it got better as the game went on. I did see explosive plays down the field, which I thought we could, potentially create. So, yeah, I saw some things that I liked, and yet there's a few mistakes that, end up, handful of plays that kind of end up costing you the game. And those are the plays that we have to eliminate.
What was the main reason for the struggle defending SAM LAPORTA? He kind of had a good game against you guys.
Well, look, he's a good player. They got a lot of good weapons, all right? So there were some times where, we made a conscious decision to take Amon-Ra St. Brown out of the game. And when you do that and you devote more resources to that, it opens up some other areas. So, yeah, he's a good player. They're a good offense. They've moved the ball on a lot of teams. So, But that was probably the big reason why, is we devoted a few resources in other areas.
Dennis, when you don't win these one-score games, when you come close again, do you think that at any point erodes a team's confidence to believe that they can do it?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything eroding the confidence of this team right now. I mean, we're going to keep chopping wood, all right? And that's the only thing you can do in this league. We're going to leave the naysaying to everybody else outside the building. We're just going to focus on what we have to do to try to improve in those areas so that hopefully we can eventually break through and win some of these one-score games that you're talking about, because we're obviously close, and we just got to keep chopping wood.
Fourth quarter fumble, did Hurst make contact with?
Yeah, it looked like, from the shot I saw, it looked like as Derek was coming out under center to toss the ball, and James Hurst is, pulling and reaching, it looked like he, hit the ball.
You use that expression, leave the naysaying to those outside the building. Is that something that the teams in general have to make sure does not get into the locker room, and did this
Yeah.
team help you believe that maybe it?
Yeah, look, I mean, look, nothing positive comes out of being doom and gloom, like, obviously you got to make the corrections that need to be made, all right? And then you've got to try to accentuate the positives, and you got to try to minimize the negatives. That's what you have to be able to do. And look, we keep swinging, and eventually one of these turns our way, and we make the play at the end of the game that gives us an opportunity to win the game, all right? And then you develop some confidence from there. So that's where we're at as a football team.
I know it doesn't come down to one speech or one thing someone says, but was there anything you heard or saw or liked while you were down 21-0, that spirit remained?
Well, look, I mean, I think our guys just got over on the sideline and realized that we got to keep fighting. You really got two choices when it's in that situation. Okay, you can take the easy way out and you can give up, wave the white flag, all right, with a loser's mentality, or you can keep fighting. And our guys chose to keep fighting. And look, we battled back. We gave ourselves a chance to win against a really good football team. We didn't get it done.
It may be that, but what was the message at halftime?
That exact message. Keep swinging.
Coach, did they surprise you that they threw the ball late in the game in that situation?
Talking about the last play?
Yes, sir.
No. That's kind of been something that they've been, ready to do in those situations. And yet, you're in a situation where you can't let them run it, and yet they can take the ball off the line of scrimmage and throw it. They made a play in that particular situation.
Dennis, the kind of like flip-flop usage with Derek and Taysom early, was that like part of the plan, or was that kind of game flow?
Well, I think it was always part of the plan to utilize Taysom in some of these plays. And then I think as the flow of the game went on, and particularly early on, I thought there was some success with some of the things we were doing with Taysom, and so we probably utilized it a little bit more.
Was it actually a tough decision?
Thought we had an opportunity on the big play down the field with Taysom in at quarterback too.
Was it actually a tough decision late in the game when Jameis obviously coming in late in the game and Taysom having been running the ball?
No, look, I mean, our plan has always been, if anything happened to Derek, Jameis is a quarterback, and we'll use Taysom in the same role that we've, always utilized him.
And is it the same scenario again, the concussion keeps him out, is his shoulder fine?
Well, that's one thing that we're going to look at, so. All right, guys, thanks.